Waiting. Yeah.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the West Bend Community Memorial Library Board for Tuesday, December 15th. I would like, do we take a motion to call to order? No, I don't even remember. I'm losing my mind. Christmas is here. We will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
No, I don't have a flag. I don't either.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. One of the things, we do have two people on Zoom, so Brad had sent out that when you're talking, if you make sure your mic is on so that the persons can hear us. Can you guys hear us? Can you hear me, Joanne?
I can hear you. Yes.
Karen? Okay.
Yes, I can.
Okay, good, thank you. I would like to ask for an approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. I'd like to ask for an approval of the consent agenda to approve the meeting minutes of the November 17th meeting and the library expenditures for November 2020.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Thank you, Joseph. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial reports. Joseph.
Nothing exciting. I don't know if you saw my little note on the second page. I'm talking with the city to clarify it. So the building fund architecture fees have all been paid. I need to clear that line out. Yeah, but that's really it.
Okay, the only other thing, and I had mentioned this last month, is we need to move the capital offset to a fund balance, but we'll do that in our... We need to move the capital offset payments to into a fund balance. It's not on the agenda for this month, but it will be on the agenda for January. Okay. Any questions for Joseph? All right. That was the fund balance. Public comments? Yes.
I do.
Public comment or?
Public comment.
Okay.
Okay.
Mask down, please.
I'll hand this out also. At the meeting on October 14th, 20th, which didn't have minutes published, nor was it recorded, Deb explained the situation. The reason the decision was made to move forward to an external search for the library director position.
Can't hear Doug.
Yeah, I can't either. I was going to send them a note.
Doug, hand those out and then speak, then go back and speak in the mic. If you hand those out though, hand out the handouts.
Do you want me to hand them out, Doug?
Yeah, you need three of them. Little clumsy. Okay. At the October 14th, 20 meeting of the board, which did not have minutes published nor was it recorded, Deb explained the decision that was made to move forward to an external search for the library director position. One of the reasons was the potential for a lawsuit that someone could file and the resulting stress experienced by another local library. I'm distributing to each of you a copy of page 2 of the position posting and the requirements for a candidate. It is our responsibility to adhere to those requirements so we don't put ourselves in a similar legal situation as Deb had talked about. Thank you, Doug Rukowski. I'd also like to have that included in the minutes.
That would be fine.
Doug, are you specifically referring to the master's degree?
I'm just laying out, there's our requirements.
Can I ask a point of order? If this was a true public comment, we would not respond as a board, correct?
That is
I mean,
true.
if Doug's going to speak, and nothing against you, Doug, but if you're going to speak as a public comment instead of being asked to have this addressed on the agenda, we would not respond at that point in time. We would just listen and
Okay,
thank for
okay.
their comment. I'm asking that's how we would proceed in any other situation, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this will be included in the minutes of the meeting. Or, yeah. And you can just attach a copy. Okay, any other public comments? If not, we will move on. Library director's report.
Guess that's me. Okay, so I was able to get you some data for November and October. Sorry about the small font, it's getting late in the year. And just a couple other things I want to mention to Mr. Rakowski's query last month about the new users and the ad campaign. And you have the data that I have put together. And I was able to identify, with the assistance of Allison Huffman at the system, of new users and checkouts for October 2020 and November 2020 to see just exactly how they measure up regarding the impact of the ad campaign using the billboards. Based on the data, the new patron checkouts against the total checkouts suggests little impact from the ad campaign. However, the majority of the persons who obtained the new cards in October and November, 45% and 63%, respectively, did check out materials in that same month. And also in regard to non-served patrons who obtained a card in October or November, it shows that about 17% of that demographic actually checked out material in that same month as obtaining the card. So, that's what I've got.
So based on this, it looks like the advertisement did cause us to get new patrons. We don't know whether it was strictly from the billboard, but the amount of patrons each month was out there, 85 and 89. And these patrons did check out books.
Yeah, that's what it seems to suggest at this point.
Doug?
Two things on that. First of all, excellent statistics, or data there, and I think what's also significant is there was an increase during this COVID period, which, if you took that away from it, it might have been more revealing and maybe even more successful, who knows?
True.
And the other thing is, on the statistics, if you'll notice, almost everything has gone down, negatively, and that, to me, is really significant from COVID. And it's going to be difficult for us to judge or make any decisions on that. And I know we're a very large lender, and I personally am really contributing to that because I've noticed I'm reading a lot more books, and I'm getting them from libraries all over. This association with Mark has really helped me, stay in the house and read. So, very good job, Brad.
Brad, can I ask a question to the point of knowing why people chose to get their library card now and if this campaign, and this is maybe larger than the campaign, do we ask any sort of question on our library card, like I'm new to the area, if we have a campaign like this, I don't know if we can even theoretically ask those questions. Do we have any way to gauge that, or can we in the future, I don't know what other reason, other than I'm new or I have an interest to the library, that we could start to quantify the ups and downs of new library card holders?
At this time, we don't have anything like that. I don't know what the logistics would be involved in that sort of thing and gathering that data and then, throwing it together kind of thing. I mean, we're already giving you guys quite a bit of data as it is. I really don't know the results of such a quest at this point.
I think that's a good point, Tim, and I think when the new director comes, it might be something that we ask that person to look at. Maybe when you have the form for the library card, we also attach a second form saying, why did you, a little questionnaire, and ask them if they would do that.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if it's even larger that, why am I here? What services am I looking for? It's in essence a little bit of a survey, and not that we need to institute it now, but when these questions come up, if there's ways to track some of this data, if it is valuable for us, I wonder how common I use my wife or my kid's library card you know, if one has it in the family, my wife picks it up or my husband picks it up or something like that, or I'm new to the area, what the reasoning being. So I think just to look at it in the future.
Works for me. I have one other part to say as far as director comments, and this was asked of me of one of your group. Just a quick update on the basement renovation. And what I can tell you is that the painting appears to be mostly completed. They are running the HVAC conduits, and that began yesterday with an access opening being created this morning between the basement and the first floor. So we got a little hole between first floor and the basement right now. It is a rectangular piece of concrete which was 7 inches thick, which they took out and removed from the first floor. And this will create the chase or run to connect some of the HVAC equipment to existing conduits in the ceiling. They're also preparing to put in another couple of openings, I believe it is, between the first floor and the roof, which will be on the south side, and that is also going to happen this week. So it's been a little noisy here the last couple of days, and will be again probably tomorrow.
And I saw you sent that out on your notification, that pardon our dust, so that was very good, that you're letting the patrons know that that's occurring. I do want to thank you for all your efforts. There have been some occurrences with the construction. The fire alarm has gone off a couple of times, and Brad has handled that successfully, and our patrons have accepted. They understand and stuff.
We finally got a handle on that, so that is working very well at this point. So between Emily and I, we are kind of watching over that sort of thing. When I'm not there, Emily is, and vice versa. So we tag team it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Brad?
Nope.
No? Okay. If not, we'll move on to the Library Board President's Report. Two things I want to say. One thing, I have checked again with the county to find out about getting county board representation, and they have not got back to me yet, and I understand tax bills and things have gone out, so they're probably very busy. My husband's comment was, nobody wants to be on the library board. But I think that's wrong. The next thing I wanted to say is, this is a very short meeting. We do not have a lot on the agenda, okay? One of the things that I'd like to do, Joanne and Doug, is keep this in mind when you're doing the bylaws, because the main thing that we were here for today was basically to approve the expenditures, because we have a 30-day commitment that we have to approve the expenditures. This may have been something we could have done via email sent out and approval coming in, and we would not have necessarily had to have our meeting today. We could have, and I know in the past we've talked about not meeting every month. So if we can get the authorizations to approve certain things in the bylaws, that we get to approve them electronically, then we may not have to have a board meeting every month. Okay, that's it for me. Moving on to old business, Monarch Library System update.
I really don't have anything. Doug, you got something?
This kind of ties into your comment about not meeting every month. Monarch has discovered that they can meet every 2 months. And they have an operations committee and they have a finance committee that meets when necessary, and then they bring stuff to the board. So this last month, the operations committee met, and we pretty well adopted the attendance policy that our board has, or we're recommending it to the Monarch board, because they've had a situation where, people are missing meetings, and we found out they didn't have any kind of an attendance policy. So I liberally borrowed from ours, and it was highly accepted.
Good.
Then in discussion, there was quite a discussion about virtual and in-person meetings. They do it, but it's not been like formalized, and bringing up some of the other things like voting on financial and stuff like that. So we're in discussion. They aren't opposed to it at all. It was pretty much general, or not general, but acceptable. And then there was also a discussion about the lease. There have been some minor improvements to the lease again. but the lease should be signed, will hopefully be signed by the next meeting.
Good,
So, very positive from Monarch.
thank you. The only thing you mentioned about Monarch not always having to meet all the time or, on a monthly basis, the only requirement this board has is because the city has a 30-day net. That's why we typically have to approve our finances
Well, see,
every month. But we could do that electronically, yes,
That leads exactly into what we're talking about, electronically, virtually.
yes.
And to me, it seems like if we're meeting just because of the prime motivation being to approve the finances, we could do that electronically, virtually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just get our bylaws changed to accommodate that. All right, any
You get
questions?
that, Joanne?
It's hard to hear you, Doug, but I'm.
So have you heard this
I'm on board
discussion?
with Bylaws changes.
Have you heard this discussion, Joanne?
Did you hear what I said, Joanne, about the bylaws?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you.
Pay it, don't go to sleep there, we can see you.
Okay, any questions for me? If not, we will move on to number 9, old business. And there is no, or new business, I'm sorry, there's no new business. So, tasks?
Is just to have the new director add a little survey to the library applications to see why patrons are getting their library card. What kind of services are they looking for?
Our next regular meeting will be January 19th. And with that, we are adjourned.
Hey, I should be there. Hopefully, I will be there probably.
Good, I hope you're feeling better.